Morning on an extremely freezing morning. Just another quick update on the pond, just to show you the progress from the other day. A couple of people asked me that why it's going to take us all week to block up. It's not. We're going to do it, the only time we can do it really is on the weekends, as we're busy during the week, especially with the new fish, trying to get them in and stuff like that. So this is just from one day of building. I thought I'd do this to show you where the return lines are going in as well. So yeah, it's looking really good now. And just to answer a couple of questions that I got asked, of course there will be a heating system on this pond, so we can do all our quarantine, so don't worry about that. All our quarantine systems are heated, so we're going to use the air source heat pumps. Depending on the gallonage of this one, because we are inside, we'll probably be using around about a 10 kilowatt on this system. We're actually thinking about going up a higher block now, and then putting some sort of walkway at the front. So I'll show you where we're thinking of coming up to, but sometimes it restricts us being in the polytunnel because of the curve on the polytunnel, so we can only go so high on one side because we want the other side to be able to catch the fish and view the fish and stuff like that. So let me just spin the camera around and I'll show you where we're up to. Right, okay, so that's where we're up to from one day of building. So he's done fantastically, really. It should only really be another day to get it up to where we want it to. But like I said, I'll show you first where they've got one return going in there, as you can see. That's going to be one of the returns from the bead. And then the one over here, which, just get that down there. If you remember from the last video, that's the pipe that's coming up, and that's going to go straight into the corner. So you won't see that because we'll put a king span, we'll make the edges round, so they're not going to be square, and that will go inside where we edge it round. So you'll still not be able to see that. Right, so if we just jump in. Now, as you can see, that's one return coming back in. Ignore that top block, but that block is where we're thinking of coming up to. So you can just see now, like I said, you've got to be careful with the polytunnel, so it will come down there. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. The skimmer's going to go in this corner. The custom skimmers that we make, they're just a block width, so they just fit perfectly, so that's not an issue. And then there will be another return going in as well, which is going to be higher. So we've got one down there at the bottom, one there mid, and then the one down at the far end is going to be top. All spin in the same direction. Flow is the key to any pond. Doesn't matter what style of pond you're building it, you need flow rate in there for the fish, and that's probably the most important thing when coming to build a pond. So everything's going to be going in a nice clockwise direction, which then hopefully sends everything down to the bottom drain, which is still covered just while we're doing the concrete in and stuff like that, so nothing gets down the actual drain. So yeah, there we are for now. So up 5 rows on that side, turn it back round. So it's coming on, it's looking good really. I think we're going to pinch a few extra gallons by making it a little bit higher. So hopefully it's going to be just over 4,000 gallons, probably about 4.2-ish I'm looking at now. So, but yeah, it's coming along really well. So I can't see it. Hopefully now I've got the king span arriving this week, so we'll get that on at the weekend as well. And next week we'll be ready for fiberglass. So you never know, the weekend after we could have some actual water dripping into here. So it's quite a fast project really. It does, you know, but again, when building a pond, we have access. We've got access to get rid of the waste, which is simple, and we've got the guys to come in and do it. Once you've got the main thing of a pond is getting rid of the waste, the spoil. I'm lucky because we can use here. Let me just show you now. And there it is. And that'll be used by the farmer and just whatever he needs to do in the field. So that was absolutely ideal where we had to get rid of our waste. Imagine how many skips that would have used, you know. So when you're doing a pond, you've got to look at that before access and getting rid of the waste. I mean, we didn't need to on this pond, but we could have just brought a mini digger in here, no problem whatsoever, and did it, but we didn't really need to because we're coming in quite high out of the ground. But yeah, so always remember that when you're building a pond, it's getting rid of the spoil and having access to get all the equipment in that you need. If you've got that, both of them it makes it a lot cheaper and a lot easier to build. I mean, I would imagine there's probably at least 10 skips or, you know, at least 2 grab wagons full of dirt in there, and then we're coming out of the ground a lot, so, you know, it's a big saving. If you want to discuss costs, I'm not bothered about that. The most expensive part of this pond is 2 aspects. Is the concrete, which went in, and I believe, including the piles, I've not checked, but I believe that was around about £1,000 just for the concrete, nothing else, right? So that's the concrete. The blocks, I think, when we're finished, it's going to be around about £600 for the block. So that's that. And then I would imagine labour is probably around about £600 as well. Maybe a little bit more actually, probably let's say £750 for the labour. And then the next cost on top, which overshadows probably any single cost, is actually fiberglass in the pond. So I would imagine that's going to cost between £1,200 and £1,400 to fiberglass it. So like I said, it's not a cheap thing, but if you add on to, you know, the savings of getting rid of the muck and stuff like that, it's not going to be. I'll do a full costing at the end for you just so you can see of what it's cost us. But yeah, it's coming along now, and like I said, the cost is the cost, but it could have been a lot worse. So hopefully we'll get another video done after the weekend once we're fully up and running. Well, not up and running as such, but once we're all blocked up anyway, so we can have a look. I'm liking the size of the pond, to be honest with you, as well. Sometimes when you build a pond, it always looks a lot smaller when you've finished it, but this one's looking good size now. It's looking a nice size for these fish, so I'm very happy with it. So all right, so we'll do another one next week. Cheers.